And in doing
parallel.
it recently, what they did is they basically went straight into the front of that building, that yard there.
I drove by one time.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't feel that way. I take that front to go to Walmart.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's finish up our drawing stuff here. All right, so we'll start off with the square because we have code to create a square. So if it's a square, first thing we'll do.
Did you start recording again?
Yep. Say if dv dot selected object. So we have to check and see if it's null, which probably should be, because we're just starting to do we just got a touch in it. Then we do a dv drawView dot create square. Wait, no, take that back. Getting ahead of myself here. Sorry about that. My bad. We need to set not the create object, but we need to do a dv.startPoint equals. Now here's where this touches thing comes into play again. Touches dot first. That's the first touch in the touch of it. Because you can have like 3 or 4 fingers on the screen. You can even try this and debug this to see what you get. The way you can do it on a simulator is you can use the mouse and the Alt key will create the simulation of two fingers. Dot location in view, and the view is dv. All right.
And I assume that's going to go in all 4 of them?
Yeah, that'll go on all 4 of them. Actually, now I think about it, I really probably don't even need the switch statement, but yeah, because I could have just done with the if statement, actually. The only one that's really going to be oddball is going to be the line. But I will leave it as is for now. Actually, I think what we can do... for right now, we'll just leave it as is, because I want to get the square made. So then we need to do, okay, so that establishes the, I'll go ahead and copy this. And for right now, a eraser will be different too, of course. In fact, the eraser actually isn't going to do anything, probably just do a return, because when we hit the eraser, that's just going to erase everything. So we'll leave it like that. Okay. So, now we need a touches move. This one's going to be a little bit more eventful. And for this one, I'm definitely going to want the switch statement. I'm going to take all this stuff here. Okay, so in the touches moved, we're not going to set the start point. Now here's what we'll check to see if the selected object is equal to nil, because we're moving our finger at this point, so we don't know if the object has been created yet or not. So if it isn't created, then we call our create square, and the endpoint is again going to be that touches dot first dot location in view. Just like that. Okay, so that should be enough to actually get it to the point where we can draw something.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
Mine is not.
All right. And actually, now I think about that's not quite enough. I need to do the modify object too. Okay, so if the object hasn't been created, if the square hasn't been created yet, so I just started moving the finger, we create the square. Otherwise, we modify the square. Doing the same thing. Oh. What? No. Okay. I'm just going to tape this out.
Oh. Since keeps making my shit break.
Yeah, I know. It's great, isn't it? Okay, now we have enough we can draw squares if we want to.
Mine has like has an exclamation point after the DV.
Like right here, instead of...
Oh yeah, never mind. I see it. Yeah, it's there. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that's really awesome about Apple is that with different versions of Xcode, they treat these things differently. So, like if you get an older version of Xcode, it may put like the exclamation point after the DV, or force you to use an exclamation point after the first, or it's just like just.
It wants me to delete override.
Oh, I love that.
You must be missing
You're missing a bracket.
Yeah, you're missing a curly bracket.
Can you go up to the touches began for me, please?
Yeah.
This is your switch figure. You need another one to end your folder.
Okay, mine is not doing that at all. Why is mine not doing
You need another one. This is your switch figure.
that? Oh, that's better.
You got problems in the over here.
I'm going to return it to
All right, so to repeat the logic, they touch the screen, so it gets into the touches began, and we set the start point in the view. So that tells the view this is where we're going to start tracking movement of the finger. Then in the touches moved, if it's a square, which is all we have right now, if it's a square, it's going to say, okay, is the selected object in the view nil? If it is, we need to create our first square. We need to create the object. And if it isn't nil, that means we already did create the object. Then we're going to modify it by changing its frame to correlate with where they move. So, I'll run this. I think it'll work.
I want that cool blank white screen.
Yeah, because we added like a
declaration error.
what declaration error?
I really do have the. There we go.
Expected is at the very bottom. It's an exclamation point in like a red dot sign. Or compile error.
It's a compiler error. Are you missing a curly bracket?
So did you click on anything to create the box or just start drawing?
I clicked on the square, so I knew I had the square as a selected object type. But I also noticed that it's not, square is going away every time I create a new one,
Yeah, that's what mine does too.
which it should not.
If you click on another thing, it doesn't delete it, but if you keep it on the square, it deletes
Oh,
it.
I know why, because we're never actually, we're only using one object at any time. We're never, like when the touches end, just hang on a second. So yours is still not compiling?
Yeah,
Can you move your
highlight.
simulator?
Yeah.
So I'm missing one missing one to the top, to the class, I think.
Well, that would be way at the bottom.
Yeah, I'm missing that.
You like here. You know, at the left,
No, but I am missing that. Thanks. I was missing this one. I went through and checked for each of these, but I didn't check this other one.
Make sure it match, that matching one. Did you correct yours?
I got a parameter requires explicit type here.
Ooh, explicit. Using explicit.
Set.
When you put them, those errors, what do they say?
Yeah, because you haven't, it still hasn't resolved that. Looks like you got an extra curly, unless this is for your switch up here.
It is, but you're on
Yeah. What's the error? I think you are missing one, a curly at the, because you got an error way at the bottom of your file. That's okay. So that went away. All right.
Yeah, that was when if I create another one.
I think you're missing one from the error is originating up here. Try creating another function body. Try recreating this touches moved. Just type touches. Yeah, get rid of that and just start typing touches and let's just see if it will create it for you. Yeah, and go ahead, arrow down and hit touches moved. All right, then go ahead and take your code from in here, copy it and paste it in there, and then get rid of your method because there's something wonky about it.
Wonky.
Oh,
One more curly.
No, because I don't have
this curly
That's
is
for your switch. Yeah, you got to get that because that's for your switch. And then delete the second one. Back. Now fix that guy. That's just going to be an exclamation point.
Hey,
All right.
whatever,
So yeah, something about that original one that you didn't like. All right. No pain, no gain.
Too much pain. Too much.
All right, so we need to add one more thing. That's the touch is ended. That is a real simple method. Because in here, to get rid of our problem of not having any new objects created, all we got to do is set our draw views selected object to be nil. There. All right, now it's creating them.
Mine wants a quick selected object type. What am I doing?
Say what? What does it want you to do?
It won't let me put selected object in. It wants you to put a selected object type in.
Do you have in your draw view, you should have a selected object.
drawing object UIView, yeah, that's what I have. Mine's UIView.
Right, but do you have the selected object in your draw view?
Oh, no, I have selected object type, that's
No,
why.
you have it here.
Oh, yeah, I have it here.
So then you should be able to call it from here. If you typecast your view as a draw view, then you should be able to set the draw view's selected object to nil.
Oh, and it,
Well, it kept it that time, the first time it would. Yeah, we're not friends. So what do we call it?
So did you get, is yours working?
Yeah, it worked out.
Okay.
It's
Alright.
just being dumb.
Mine's still loading, I don't know if it's because I have my iPhone actually plugged in.
No, that shouldn't. Once it picks it up and recognizes it, shouldn't really be too bad. Is that, are you able to actually select your iPhone as the designated target?
I don't know.
you didn't try that.
All right. Because unless you select it as the target, it isn't going to matter if it's plugged in or not. It'll still be building all the symbols and stuff for the simulator.
It's being a pain.
All right. Everybody else able to create your squares?
Yeah, I feel like Minecrafty over here or something.
Hey. Situation resolved?
Yep.
Good.
Someone else was able to make it.
Oh. Well, drum roll.
It worked for mine.
It's, I can't even stop it now.
It's almost there. Oh, we've got a loading circle.
Isaiah, is yours working? Cool. And then you said yours is working, right, Adam? So you can make squares like crazy.
I can't make a circle though.
No, not yet, but we will.
It's working.
All right.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right, good. Another thing I'm going to implement right away because it's really easy to do is going to be the eraser. So let's go ahead and code up a function called erase all. It'd be really cool to have the functionality of an eraser that erases as you move, but for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to have it clear the screen. So this is why, another reason why I created a special class for this drawing object, even though it really doesn't have anything in it. You'll see in a moment how this comes in handy. So we don't want to erase stuff like on our view here. There are child views. So every view, every UI view that is like the main view has child views. So like when you do add, when you do an add a view to add sub view, and then you add a view to the main view, like we called add sub view in our drawing view. These are all these little objects, all these little squares are actually child views to the main view. So what we need to do is go through and remove them. But there's also other child views, like the toolbar is actually considered a child view, and all these guys, these items are considered child views. So we have to differentiate so we don't erase our toolbar by accident. So what we can do is say for v in self.view.subviews And then we can do a type check and say if V is drawing object, V dot remove from superview. And that removes itself from its parent view. So now in the eraser up here, actually not in the touches began, let's go up to the bar button press. We can do it right away. With the eraser, we can say self.remove. Oh, wait. Yeah, I coded that in here, right? Why did it not? Oh, erase all is what I called it. Self.erase all. There we go. Then you go ahead and run that. And then that should, as soon as you tap on the bar button item, it should go ahead and erase everything that you've drawn. Boom, they're gone. Then you have to go ahead and reselect the square so you can. All right.
It erased all, is that what it's supposed to do?
So how do you get it
Yeah.
to go back to drawing again?
Click on square.
Line. Something wrong. You did it.
As soon as you press that bar button item in the square, in the case 2 of our bar button pressed, it should be setting it back to square.
It doesn't.
It doesn't? Like if you put a breakpoint in here, it's not getting hit. You can, once it's running, like once you have it up and running, you can just go ahead and set the breakpoint, and then you'll hit it if so like if I tap on my square, it'll come in my code, and sure enough, there it is.
So tap the square. It's not.
It's not getting in here.
I don't think so.
So do you have a breakpoint set and it's not hitting it?
No.
Then it would be something with your storyboard, like the tag is not correct.
Check your tag on your story.
So if you go into your main storyboard and then go into the properties of your toolbar, let's see, that is the third one. And the tag needs to be set to 2.
That was it. For some reason it was still on.
Okay, so now we have a square, we have an eraser. Next one we'll do is going to be the circle. So we need to have a function to create a circle. So back in our draw view, we have our create square, our modify object. Let's, underneath our create square in the draw view, let's do a create circle. And that will be an end. All right, so we can basically copy the stuff from the create square and I could have actually just done the same thing I did with the modify with the create, but that's okay. Because the only thing we're going to change here is going to be the corner radius thing. So we can just say obj dot layer dot corner radius equals r dot width by 2. And then we say self dot, here's that add subview. That's where it becomes a child of the main view. Oops. And then finally self dot selected object equals obj. So I could have just created a create object instead of create circle and create square, but that's all right. So now,
How hard would it be to change the color?
well, that was something I was going to do. As the last thing I was going to do is add the color changing ability.
Oh, okay.
But I may end up having to just share some code with you guys because it's take a little while to implement. All right, so there it is. Back in the view controller now. We have our touches moved event. So here we say get rid of this, and then we can say if dv dot selected object equals nil, and I can just borrow this code and change it from create square to create circle. Just gonna put that right there. And that's all I have to do. And then that should allow us to create circles.
That did solve my problem, by the way,
What didn't solve the problem?
changing the tag. Maybe I need to clean it though.
Yeah, because that's a resource, so if you don't clean it, it's possible it didn't pick it up. So I'll create squares, and I'll switch to circles. Create circles. There is a football circle.
Can you go back to the draw view for a second?
Yeah. I can guess what you're doing.
No, you can't.
Yeah, I
There's
can.
nothing dirty at all. I just said I feel like Van Gogh making just little faces with these shapes.
Oh, I thought maybe you.
Went to the dirty. Why does your mind gotta go dirty?
The fact that the volume of your voice went down, and
I just said I feel like Van Gogh was making weird faces of sticks. It was pretty funny.
all right.
That did work cleaning it, but I can't go through.
I can't-
Well,
It's-
It did create circle, but.
So we're gonna do basically the same thing for line then too?
No, line is a little bit different. It's kind of a different creature.
My circles are more like,
I meant the
circles you said.
start point and the end point. Aren't those gonna be the same code?
The start point will be similar, but the actual moving is going to be different.
Right.
Because we're not, in the case of a circle or a square, you're taking an existing object and you're modifying it. Whereas with the line, you're going to create a series of them.
What did you do for the
Eraser after you put in the code in the view controller.
For the eraser, I think I put that code in here. So and then in the button press event, I just call it erase all if it's an eraser.
Oh, okay.
Why wouldn't I be able to draw my circles? Or just wait, hold on. I think I can draw circles. I know that my tab was right. My chart was right.
Maybe your life is defined by very square edges, Kristen, and it's just not within your means to draw a circle.
Oh my gosh.
shots fired.
Yeah, there goes my job.
What do you
How dare you crush the hopes and dreams of aspiring students?
Just kidding.
What was that at the top again? Can you go up, scroll up for a second?
You put in live.
I just saw that up here.
Higher yet?
Yeah,
Mhm.
right there.
What happens when I move stuff around? It should work now.
Drum roll, please.
Oh, well,
It's an under.
is that what you're supposed to?
Yeah. You can,
Like lemons?
you can make lemons, or you can make circles.
Let me just make some.
Got your circles working?
Eyeballs.
Yeah, once we get colors, we can create something a little bit cooler.
Gotta get all that out of, element over here.
All
Yeah,
right.
I guess it's working.
All right, so cool. Now the last one we have to do is the line, which is probably the most complicated one. Strangely, you would think, but no, it's actually gonna be the most involved. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is go into draw view. So the way I've been building out this code is I start at the lowest level, which is the view, create the function in the view to actually handle the act of creating the object, and then go up to the view controller and do the logic, the business logic part. All right, so I'm going to create a function in here. So with the line, what it's going to end up being is, or I'll call this add to line. The logic that's going to be is instead of having one object, and as you move the mouse around, you modify it, we're going to be creating, that's kind of cool how it does that, but that's not what I want. We're going to be creating separate little dots each time. This is a point, add to line. So we're going to start drawing right away with the line, and then we're just going to keep adding points to it. This is a little bit different than the way we did it last week because of the fact that if we do it like we did it last week, we won't have anything but lines. We'll blot out all the other objects. So we have to implement it this way. So we're going to do create a rectangle. And the one on the bottom there, x, y, width, and height. X is going to be the point dot x minus 2 pixels. Y is going to be point dot y minus 2, actually 2 points, not pixels. I shouldn't use the word pixels. Width will be 4, height will be 4. So basically it's going to be like a little dot. B equals drawing object. I'm going to create a drawing object with the frame equal to our little rectangle we just made. And we'll say dot background color equals, and then we have, where's my code where I do that? It's weird, it's not in there. All right. Background color equals UI application dot shared dot delegate.
You have it up there, like color equals UI delegate.
Too late now, I'm doing it. But thank you. App delegate dot selected color. And then of course there's going to be like all kinds of exclamation points and stuff we got to stick in there. All right, good enough. Then we're just going to do self dot add subview, passing in the view we just created. Okay, so each time we move, we're going to call this. So we're going to create a little dots, series of dots, and then hopefully by giving them a radius of 2, that helps fill in the gaps somewhat, although it may not be perfect. But all right, then back in the view controller file. So like I said, it's a little bit different, but not radically different. In the touches began, if it is a line, okay, we set the start point, and then we say we call the add the method we just created, drawView dot add to line, using our point touches dot first. I'll just say dv dot start point. And then in the touches moved, do something similar. Yeah, I may have to give you guys the color stuff because it's a little bit. But one nice thing about the color stuff is that it uses the picker view again. So basically in here, in the line, get rid of this. I am in the right one, right? Touches moved. Yeah. So in the line, all we're going to do is that add line or add point, add to line. Using that dot location in view.
Can you go back up to begin?
Yeah. Get it? All right. There's the touches mode. We just call that method again. All right, that should be enough.
Oh, really failed. Can you go back to the draw view, please?
Yeah.
On the new on the function add to line. What did I miss? Oh, I missed the V.
Mine's giving me dotted lines.
Yeah, it is. It creates a series of dots. So to get it consistent, you might have to play around with the size of the squares.
Oh, you just draw slow enough, you can draw.
Yeah, if you draw slow enough, it will create a nice consistent line for you. Yeah.
Oh, should be. Yeah, it's just the V. I'm not sure this is
All right. So we have circles, we have squares, we have lines. Colors are going to be, let me think here. How much is it going to take to
Are they supposed to be tight lines? Or you just gotta see
You have to draw, if you go slowly, they're tight. If you go really fast, then they kind of spread out. But you can go, if you go even fairly slow, it works out okay. All right. Yeah, in the interest of time, I think what I'm going to do is I created a color picker view controller that I think I'm just going to share with you guys because otherwise it's going to take too long to make this thing. All right, so what I will do is package that up for you. Put it on Blackboard. Let's
This one, drawing. We're drawing aliens back here.
drawing aliens. Well, it gets better when you have colors. Then you can make eyeballs and stuff.
How's my art?
Not bad.
Adam?
You're pretty artistic. See, now you can.
self-portrait. You got no hair there, kind of got the ears sticking out.
See, now you can go ahead and now you got a phone you can deploy it to. You can. Well, your kids are older though, but younger kids, you could say, "Hey, play my game." You know. You can make a solar system, and you can draw an alien.
I showed my, let's see, 8-year-old my solar system. Thought it was cool.
Nice, Dad.
Yeah.
Good job. Let's see here. Where did I put this thing? Drawing 2. All right. So you guys are going to need 2 files.
Mine is imagination based. What do you see in the picture?
My eraser doesn't work. That's not good.
I don't wanna-
You're not intended to erase your masterpieces.
Can I save my alien?
Screenshot.
Not yet. That's a future class.
Can I grab it?
Yeah, if you do a screen print of it, yeah, then you can save it all you want. All right, so I gotta send this to you guys. Because this thing is really lacking if you don't have colors.
I don't know what it's.
Was it working before? Yeah.
We might be able to do this in 10 or 15 minutes. Let's see.
Sign this
No, but let's-
Well, if this would go just a hair faster, it would help.
Usually when you don't see it.
Are you sending the code or putting it out there or something?
I'm putting it on Blackboard, yep.
On Blackboard? Is it up there now?
Not yet.
Not yet.
How now?
Is it there yet? Is it there yet?
It might take a little longer if people can.
Dad, is it there yet?
Are we there yet? Dad. Wow.
Okay, how about this?
Oh my gosh, what did I get into? All right, so that's getting submitted. It's waiting for Blackboard.
What'd you call it?
Color
Colors.
selector for November 22nd class.
Wow, you must have like a blazing fast connection.
Hashtag trying not to punch out.
Really? I haven't even taken it.
Thank you.
It's been a challenge.
So what's in here?
So in that zip file, the color selector for November 22nd class are two files. There's a Swift file, a source file, and a zip file. I'm going to go ahead and download them too, because I will also need them.
And just put them in our, copy them in our thing.
Yeah, you can go ahead and just drag those in your project when you have them.
No, I don't want to.
That's not what I want.
So now I've got, all right, so I've got it open. Where do we want to drag and drop that?
Into your project. You have to,
For the
like,
project.
into the current project that you're working on.
You put them in that project you want?
Yeah, the hashtag punch Adam is getting more and more relevant. All right.
Why has everybody always got to be such a hater?
Color selector?
Yeah.
I don't even know what you mean. So we just drop it anywhere in the project? I'm waiting.
Yes, anywhere in the project will do. Those
We need
two,
to drop both of them. on
both
the
files
outside.
need to be dropped into the project, or else bad things will happen.
Okay, I've got them both in there.
All right,
It
so
says an item with the same name already exists.
options view control, well, then you might have accidentally done it twice.
No. One's the zip file.
One's a zip file, one is a Swift file.
Yeah, it won't let me drop the zip file
Did you do one at a time?
in. Yep.
Yeah, delete the one that's in there and then redo it with both of them at one time. Yeah, so yeah, there's a tip. Make sure you drag both of them into the project at the same time, or you may end up with the dilemma that Adam did.
It still says because the same already exists.
Oh, I didn't do mine at the same time, but so far I don't have a problem.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem either.
So it won't do the one of them now.
I didn't have a problem.
Can you delete them all?
Yeah, if you delete them on disk, so like put them someplace other than in your project folder, and then delete them on disk. So in Finder, go to your project folder and just delete them right off of the hard drive, and then go back and drag them in from, or maybe do a build after you do that. Then drag them in from wherever you got them. Because I think what's happening is that they exist on the hard drive on disk, but they're, when you try to add them in again, it's saying no, that file's already there.
Well, that really
All right, you may have to just watch then, Adam, because we're gonna have to like move along here, or maybe work with Nate.
I was never able to catch up once again.
Yeah. So if you're in Finder,
Jeez, I hate you.
it's recorded. What was this thing called? This is called Drawing 2. So like in your project folder, you may have the files here. Just go ahead and delete them, and then go ahead and drag them back in from wherever they were.
Multiple errors occurred when I did that.
What kind of errors? All right, well, I'll have a look at it in a minute here, but we'll have to get this wrapped up.
No.
We're running late. Okay, with those guys in there, what we're going to have to do then is, okay, I think the way I'm going to implement this is we're going to do a long press recognizer, another type of gesture recognizer. So, in our view controller, did you ever get it, Adam, or not?
No.
All right. All right, so let's create, what we're going to do is if they press and hold on one spot on the view, it's going to pop up this view controller, this options view controller. So what this guy is a picker view. So hopefully if you open up your zip file, you should have this stuff already wired up, where the picker view is wired up to the file's owner, which is this view controller.
Yes.
All right, good. And the options view controller is a delegate for the picker view. So what it is I just have an array of colors up here, and then I load up the picker view with those colors, and then yeah, that's basically all I do. So all the elements in the picker view are nothing more than a view with a background color set to the colors that are defined up above, and that's it. So we need a way to call this guy. So the way I'm going to do it, could do another toolbar button, but I'm going to get fancy with it so you guys can have a little more exposure to gesture recognizers, and to make it more complicated and confusing. So we're going to, in our view did load of our main view controller, I'm going to create a long press gesture recognizer. And we're going to set the, use the constructor with the target and the action. All right, I'm going to rename this. Long press. There we go. Target will be self. And action is going to be something that's yet to be defined, so let's go ahead and define it. We'll call this function long pressed. And the guy that gets passed into this is a UI long press gesture recognizer. So this works similar to the tap gesture recognizer that we used before, only this one has is a long press, so you have to tap and hold for this to get called. Then in here we're going to say let dv equals self. Wait, I'm sorry. Let not dv options equals options view controller. That's the guy we just added. And then we're going to call present this guy. The view controller to present is the options one. Animated true. Completion can be nil. Yep, and that's it. All right, so what this is doing then, okay, so this will call the options view controller. In the options view controller, there is an OK button. And the OK button, when pressed, will set the app delegate's color to be the one that you pick.
Can you go back to that? I'm sorry. That long pressed.
Yeah.
View.
In the, you did load for the long press,
Mm-hmm.
did you set the action?
Not yet. That's the last thing we gotta do is set this yet. So that is that goofy syntax pound selector, and the selector is gonna be self dot long pressed. So I'll leave that up. So all the other code should be in place to use that selected color that's in our app delegate, and all this view controller is doing is setting that color. So we should be ready to just run it, and if everything's wired up okay and everything didn't get destroyed when copy these files on, it should work. Otherwise it won't.
Yeah. One more thing on the view controller when you get a chance there.
What you need to see in the main view
I
controller.
got the selector self long pressed. I just didn't get what was after that.
I assume we're supposed to just hold it?
Where's selector?
Yeah. Should be able to.
It's not.
Oh, I think I know why. I'm missing a line of code. I just saw. We need to add the gesture recognizer to the view. My bad. All right, so yeah, it won't do much. What we need is this. I need to stop it first. Yeah, go away. Okay. Let's see. Do I have draw view? Let dv equals self dot view as draw view, and then boom, dv dot add gesture recognizer, and that's going to be long press is what we're adding, like that. There. Now if you tap, it should do it. Sound like a skeptic, Adam.
I've got to let some of the problems right
Oh.
Remember, I can't get the little programs to come in yet, so it doesn't like that.
Okay, so here's our color picker. And as soon as you do that, it sets the
Would it
color.
work if I just quick inserted those two files and just copied and pasted the code to?
Yeah. You could just create them and then copy and paste the code in. The only thing is you got to set up all the outlets and stuff too,
Oh.
the delegate stuff, all that stuff.
Maybe easier to drag.
It's really weird that it's not. Let me come and see what's going on.
It just does, it just says creates lots of errors. It says this, multiple errors occur more often than files and it doesn't work. I can't. Oh, no, I wonder. If we made some of those connections before though. So like some of the connections are being able.
It shouldn't be because you really didn't make any connections.
Well, when I tried to drag one
Is
over
that it?
before and one dragged in, I deleted it out. And now I'm wondering if that's still in the background of this program saying no.
Well, go to this on Finder, this project location.
But I can
Finder.
go ahead and change
Here's the Finder.
Yeah, so go to wherever that project is you're going to. Go into the subfolder. See, they're still there on this, so you need to delete those. Trash. That one. Now go back to the other location where they were.
It's here.
Now take both of them. Over there.
I just put them here, right here. Just this.
All right, then grab both of them. Just drag them. All right. Now you should be able to use the rest of that code. What would you call them?
Yeah, this is what I had pop up watching all these
That
things.
was the
Yellow, cyan, magenta.
It was working until I dropped those in, so.
Yeah, click on the bullseye thing and see what the solution is. Yeah, for some reason, yeah, just go ahead and implement those. I'm not sure. Oh, now it's getting to that.
It's tough to get it where you want it.
We have both selected and selected objects.
Yeah, good. Selected object type and selected object.
Yeah, now I don't like any of it.
He's got a black and gray. Black
Do
is
a-
a
do a-
black.
Yeah, now it's gonna just create errors
Do
everywhere.
a clean.
Really got
And
it.
do a rebuild.
It just doesn't.
Yeah, but I just changed it so that I figure out which ones I just changed from selected object. This is reselected object.
That is two right there where your mouse is.
Very one monster.
No, that one is type. That one is selected object type. The one right above it is object.
Two eyes.
This one here.
Yeah.
Same color.
It's asking for it again for this.
Yeah, that's now do a build.
My word. And I did this before, it makes you want, it asked me to change all these, and I don't know why.
Can we look at your clean ones?
I'm in my draw view. This is the draw view.
Go up to the top.
There's selected object type and the object. So it was working before until I got this one.
Yeah, but you don't have a selected object. That's the selected object type. I don't see a selected object.
Oh, did I forget to make the variable?
Yeah. Selected object is a drawn
So,
object. Just drawn object.
I caught dropping out.
Yep, that works. And then.
Did we have anything else then?
What's that?
Did we have anything else then?
No, that should be it.
Oh, we should. Okay.
And then that should hopefully still look like selected objects.
Unwrapped. There, that one is just gonna be a question mark thing. So we're-
This is what I should.
that one has to be changed from selected object type to selected object.
Five errors. Oh, here's another one. Is-
So, let's go
It's not part of the.
It's a spelling thing that it doesn't have an E. So if we change it from blue
I
got it.
make it studied.
I don't know.
together.
I got it.
Worked at all.
It all worked, but then it's
73.
killing. It's just worked, and it's like, it worked before. Like it actually.
Yeah, you were the first one out of there.
I had to-
Really
I
nice.
had to go.
I don't know. You can see here.
Do you have the long press stuff in there?
Yeah.
Well, I think I got it all typed in, so
Well,
I'll
I
find out
s-
pretty fast.
Oh, this is created. That's not what time you started.
This is the time submitted, so you did 39 minutes.
So how do I get?
Yeah.
I can call it.
Press and hold.
I-
Press and hold.
Um,
38
Oh, I guess you got
38 minutes. But you can't see because he didn't want us to.
Yeah, I think he's gonna give us an option, get some points back, I think, rather than having it.
Oh, somehow, I don't know how that worked, but I missed the whole thing.
I'm not sure how that happened.
That's weird that it was still running.
Yeah.
Is that everything then for today?
Yeah, that's it.
Couple questions.
Yeah.
Do you wanna work on number 4?
Not really, but why you need some help with it or?
Well,
Yeah, I get the first two done.
problem.
Okay, all right. Yeah, let me just stop this recording.
Yeah,
So-
And then the other question is, do you wanna mess with the phone?
Freeze
thing?
a little.
Yeah, the phone would be that'd be great to get that going. For sure.
Struggling.